Tonight on Joy News Prime, Vice President discloses deployment of more security resources to deal with secessionist threat in the Volta region as he condemns politicization of the secessionist attacks that has claimed 2 lives so far.
Some good intelligence work taking place, and we've seen some work. We're going to have to even double and triple the effort, but we've invested a lot in the security services.
While NDC members of parliament in the Volta region have been meeting with the regional minister and demanding the arrest and prosecution of those behind the attacks.
Leaders, we are interested in this matter being addressed, that the perpetrators must be apprehended and brought to justice.
So state prosecutors say a cleaner at the residence of deceased law professor Albene has confessed his involvement in the gruesome murder. And angry members of the coalition of aggrieved teachers are demanding the immediate payment of salaries owed them since 2012. And in business,
Vice President Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia says that his administration has handled the public debt pretty well, citing COVID-19 and as well various infrastructure development as disruptions so far.
And on the lighter side, this is what we call presidential mouthful. It will be an hour of engaging, compelling news. My name is Aisha Ibrahim. The news comes to you live from our studios in Kokomlemle here in Accra on your digital terrestrial TV, because we're free to air on DSTV channel 421 and GoTV channel 144. Many thanks for choosing us. In our very first story, there have been urgent calls for the government to do more to deal with the secessionist threat in the Volta region. Well, tonight, the Vice President, Dr. Bawumia, has been disclosing details of a presidential directive for the deployment of additional security resources to the region. 2 people have so far been killed after secessionists seeking to break away from Ghana attacked some installations in the Volta region. Today, the Vice President shut the door firmly on any talk of opening dialogue with members of the group seeking to break away. Many security analysts have called for talks. Speaking on our sister station Asempa FM a short while ago, the Vice President was emphatic government will not dialogue with criminals.
There's been some good intelligence work taking place, and we've seen some work. We're going to have to even double and triple the effort, but we've invested a lot in the security services since we came into office, and they've done quite a bit, both the police and the army, in terms of vehicles, in terms of ammunition, in terms of conditions of service, and so morale generally is very high. We've invested in a lot of intelligence equipment and so on, and so we're going to have to do more, because it's a live situation that we are dealing with now on a minute-by-minute basis, and they are deploying the resources as we speak into these areas. So we're going to continue to do well, and I know that the directions of the president are quite clear in terms of dealing with this, and the military, police, national security, they are all focused on this matter. No, in Nyamiadum, we in Ghana need unity. This is not a partisan matter. We need unity across all regions, across all tribes, across all religions. We need to talk and provide necessary intelligence.
Meanwhile, NDC members of parliament in the Volta region have been meeting with the regional minister and demanding the arrest and prosecution of those behind those attacks. Samuel Okujeto Ablakwa is the MP for North Tongue.
A very successful meeting with the Honorable Minister responsible for the Volta region, Dr. Machibo Lecha. We held a meeting as representatives of the Volta caucus in Parliament, and it was a one-item agenda: the ongoing insurgency in the Volta region, which has wreaked a lot of havoc, as you know. Police stations have been overpowered, the STC yard in Bo was invaded, vehicles burnt, as we speak, our constituents are living in considerable fear and panic, and the safety and security of the region is at stake. We, as representatives of the people, are concerned about the lives, the livelihoods of our constituents, and that is why we held this meeting. We have received assurances from the regional minister and chairman of RECSE that they will do all they can in their power to restore normalcy. They have shared with us some detailed information as to the progress they have made. At this point, we do not think that it is useful to divulge the information that we have been given because as responsible leaders, we are interested in this matter being addressed, that the perpetrators must be apprehended and brought to justice. We have also taken the opportunity to assure the regional minister that we remain committed to peace, we remain committed to the Ghana project. We are Ghanaians, and we believe that the union called Ghana must be kept intact, and nothing must be done to disintegrate or to cause, if you like, some balkanization of the Republic of Ghana. So those assurances have been conveyed. It is also important to point out that the deliberations have been scheduled to continue on a larger scale on Friday. At this point, tentatively, it is looking very possible that the National Security Minister, and the Minister told us that other ministers are likely to join the National Security Minister. Probably the Minister responsible for Defense, the Minister responsible for the Interior are likely to come to Ho for a meeting with us. And this time we will have virtually the entire parliamentary caucus join us. We have also recommended that this matter goes beyond the Volta region. The agitation is about Western Togoland, and if you are conversant with the map of Western Togoland, it also includes multiple regions.
Meanwhile, the President, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, has broken his silence on the secessionist issue. He's been speaking to Kumasi-based Hello FM. Listen.
Because institutions are in place. The security agencies are doing their work. They've started already, and we'll see results. If I panic, the country panics. I mean, I'd say, if I had panicked, but I know I'm saying my and so meaning, sir, a Juma, Yakupo, Mr. Babayano. Some men so many eyes say me him one. Man, you know, so be him. That is not the purpose of leadership. I'm supposed to assure people that our country will work. The Air Coast of Volta region, in the time of these handful, there's just a handful of people, these secessionists. We will deal with it. I have no doubt about it. But there's no value for the country if I start making hysterical statements and acting. No, because BBR not so much that you can sleep and be complacent or sleep, but at least you can be steady about what is coming. And I trust the security agencies, I trust the armed forces, I trust the police, I trust their leadership, the intelligence agencies. I know they're all working very, very, very hard to make sure that this matter is dealt with as quickly as possible. People reporting to me wherever I am, I'm getting the reports on a daily basis telling me what's going on.
How can Friday is matching na sorry BBC see na notwithstanding police na and right so o ma question I say bi anka ba fosu se ke ye o ma won say den kakra e ke bi kranka STC no ke one question no
Mr. Bede, but always
by the time I say no Mary.
Yeah, no, because there's always the element of surprise. You can never do anything about it. That's why there are terrorist outrages. How come 9/11? The element of surprise is there at the beginning, for all terrorist groups, the element of surprise. But after a time, when the system is working, you're no longer going to be surprised. So this they've done once or twice. Third, fourth, fifth time, it's not going to be so easy.
The President of the Republic of Ghana.
I don't want that.
On your election headquarters, Vice President Dr. Bawumia is defending government's borrowing, saying there is a lot to show for the money taken. Ghana's total public debt stock jumped by 1.66% to hit 263.1 billion in July 2020, according to the latest summary of macroeconomic and financial data. This represents about 68.3% of the country's gross domestic product and is gradually nearing the dreaded 70% of GDP. The concern for many is that the country is inching towards debt distress, with the opposition NDC questioning what the money has been used for. But speaking to Osei Bonsu on Ekosi Saying on Asempa FM, Dr. Bawumia said the banking sector cleanup, the COVID-19 relief packages and other infrastructure projects undertaken by government came from some of the money borrowed. The Vice President also took on the former President John Mahama, accusing him of lacking understanding of the scope of work on the dams being constructed in selected communities in the northern part of the country.
So far, we have about 435 one village, one dams. And these were 435 dams in here. So for a village or a group of villages, Omunya sa dam no because one time in more areas are one village, one dam no but critical areas were in the north, especially where and so a serious problem. So one village, one dam, we have started. So we've started with 435. The next phase of dams will also come in, and we'll go. So you can say we are delivering. You can say we have finished delivering. So it's still consistent. Well, also on who dams no one north, but that means he's not touring his own constituency. And say, constituency. Oh yes, well, 10 dams. And I think there was Ghana GTV program be on a normal call Bole, and they interviewed people, and they were so happy with the dams. Palogo Dam, the Palogo multi-purpose dam, and it will be the largest investment in northern Ghana since independence. Almost $1 billion is going in there. We're doing flood control. Ever control Bagri Dam flooding every year.
Yeah, but I've not seen work commence.
Work has commenced, but they were waiting to do the earthworks. Water na aban me call recently. So I'm sooner air ton. Just because there were floods there, and to do the earthworks, machines no contractors no almost was site but they want the water to obey. And not almost started a human earthwork, but the site, unfortunately, your mama doesn't understand it. Clearly, even in his own constituency, he doesn't appreciate the 10 dams that have been done. He doesn't even know they exist. I think he's clearly, if he says he hasn't seen any, that means he doesn't know they exist in his own backyard.
Dismiss claims most of the infrastructure project government is taking credit for were inherited from the NDC administration.
We are doing more interchanges in the first term than any government in the history of this country. In our first term, we've started.
You've heard the narratives around those interchanges, that these are projects you inherited. And
which one?
For example, the Tema Motorway Interchange project.
It wasn't an inherited project. No. How can you, Obi, wait here, it doesn't make sense. We negotiated the Tema Motorway interchange project. We took it
effort from the previous government.
Well, I think that they were looking to the World Bank to get some money for a flyover in Tema. It isn't the same project. We went to Japan. We got the negotiation. We came to Parliament, passed. the thing, and I cut the sword, by the way, for Tema interchange. So it is there. Of course.
Obichibi Lamte, it was negotiated and started this year. Yes, I think this year that we started Obichibi Lamte. Yes, and it is ongoing. Tamale interchanges, part of the Sino-Hydro facility. I think the Pukwasi was negotiated before we actually came into office, but we started. This construction started, I think, when we came into office. I think it was negotiated just before we left office, but we have continued with the project, and it is coming to fruition. And you know, Takrady, I just cut the Takrady PTC interchange. Sordono, the Nungwa is also going to come along. So we have started a lot of these major projects, and so. And to be clear, Your Excellency, for the Tema motorway interchange, how can I say exclusively this government?
You know, at the end of the day, we believe that it is our project. Of course, there was a flyover that NDC wanted to do. And my understanding is that they were doing this with the World Bank. But this is, I think, a grand facility from Japan. Right. And the Minister for Roads and Highways went to Japan and actually negotiated it and came back. We took it to Parliament, passed it, and I went and cut the sword for the project to start, and it has started. So I don't know what other claims other people will have, but at the end of the day, it is for Ghana.
Still to come in this bulletin, angry members of the Coalition of Aggrieved Teachers are demanding the immediate payment of salaries owed them since 2012.
I remember His Excellency the Vice President mentioned that all legacy arrears have been cleared, and yet we have not received. It doesn't hit our account. So it doesn't hit our account. So what we are going to do is that we are going to the GS, the Minister of Education, Controller, and the Audit Service. After that, we go to Bawumia's house to wait for him to come and pay us.
We're back with more after this break. Welcome back to Joy News Prime. To the rest of our stories, and Flagbearer of the opposition NDC, John Dramani Mahama, has criticized the NPP government for deliberately abandoning education infrastructure started by his government. He said it is sheer wickedness by the NPP government to abandon projects and also refuse to give them credit for some projects started during his tenure. John Mahama said the free SHS is a good policy, but added that it has been poorly implemented. The NDC Flagbearer was campaigning at Nkwantaso in the Doma West constituency.
John Mahama ba free SHS abano obeba betwem nanano mijina ha ka kire mo se nyame anim eye entro free SHS no eye mai enso nyane e ka ne se ekwaya omode ba ye no ama e de ohaw abeto awofo enkwada no ena ya teacher for so ebi say anka omo fa kwaya na ye ya shase a ye ye no akasa ohaw ya ma ye nim say ya shase ni free SHS no ma breso ni ene shase ye di day students ene shase 2016 ene the boarding students ni become na amabo wo hoyi eyanyansa ene adwen ene de ye nim say ya shase ni SHS ye ka say ekwadaa no beba bedosu wo school enti miensi school afoforo secondary school bako oha mienu se na be ya ekwadaa no bedosu a obi abenya school ni bia ko enu bi ene de e-block eba mo hey I just say anke ye wie mu e-block ya abofro bia officer of secondary school bia on sorry konkran kwanta ana nko Doma nkro enkasa okoko school obeko ya and so schools ni bebre ye wie make us say enkwada ni bi e wo schools no but bebre so wo ho a ye wie asa na efi aban mu.
The chiefs and people of Nkwantaso in the Doma West District have pledged their unflinching support for the victory of John Mahama and the NDC in December. According to them, that is the only assurance of development in their communities. Nana Kofi Treme Philip Brady, a Kontonkrom chief, spoke on behalf of his people.
The place is one. It means that I school no. Yes, Sabio, Sofia Twata, can you school Papa Pass here. Now, I'm catching man and I don't know the man paying Sabio, what I am a monswa, on catching my bed. Very you say 2020, December 7th, Kokromoti power. Kokromoti power. Kokromoti power. Or NDC.
NPP President Akufo-Addo has commissioned the first phase of a 83.5-kilometer railway line from Kumasi to Obuasi. The line, which is part of the Western Railway line, started over 40 years ago in the country. President Akufo-Addo revealed the construction is critical to the successful establishment of government projects, including the bauxite and aluminium industries. He added the viability of the Buankra inland port, which will be revived in November, will be enhanced by the construction of the rail lines.
The construction of the 83.5-kilometer Kumasi to Obuasi line is a clear manifestation of the Akufo-Addo's government's policy to grow and develop the country's railway sector. Now, ladies and gentlemen, earlier this year, Cabinet and then Parliament both approved a 500 million euro agreement for the construction of a new standard gauge line from Takoradi Harbour to Kojokrom and also from Manso to Huni Valley. Once completed, 102 kilometers of new standard gauge railway lines would have been constructed as part of the development of a new standard gauge western line. Indeed, the Kumasi to Obuasi section, for which I'm cutting the sword today, is part of the new western line. This line is critical for the successful establishment of the new bauxite and aluminum industry being promoted by government. The Shani and Opon Manso iron ore deposits, exploitation, which will form the basis of the imminent iron and steel industry, requires a modern railway network to transport the ore and the processed raw material. This railway line has branch lines to Shani and Opon Manso. The exploitation of the bauxite deposits at Etiwa as part of the nascent bauxite and aluminum industry will also benefit from the construction of a new railway line. At long last, the construction of the Buankra Inland Port is about to commence. Parliament has approved a $330 million United States concession facility for its development.
So to come in business, Vice President Dr. Bawumia has justified the government's management of the debt stock, saying the rate of increase in the debt stock has slowed down significantly.
Hello, good evening. It's time for business. I'm Charles Aite. The Vice President, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, has justified government management of the debt stock, saying that the rate of increase in the debt stock has slowed down significantly. Now, Ghana's total public debt stock jumped by 1.66% to hit over 200 billion cedis in July 2020 alone. But speaking on Asempa FM a while ago, Dr. Bawumia outlined the banking sector cleanup, COVID-19, as well as other factors as the main disruptions to debt management.
Yes, we are managing that debt much better. Of course, Obi, of course, I mean, the debt stock has increased for a number of reasons, and we cannot, hide from it. When the NDC left office, they had negotiated power purchase arrangements. How much? 60% of what they had negotiated, we didn't need. So we're left with excess capacity charges, close to $1 billion a year for power we don't produce. There's not much we can do. The financial sector bailout has cost this country about 21 billion. Financial sector, 21 billion. Now we face the situation. Do you say you won't pay? Banks, savings and loans, microfinance, or do you pay? You don't have a choice. You pay the depositors. There were only 4.6 million depositors. Now almost sika aka. Banks, savings and loans, and microfinance. So 21 billion Ghana cedis. We had to find the money to pay. So you have all of this major infrastructure that we are also doing in this. So the debt stock, yes, in nominal terms has gone up. We are managing it very, very well. And the macro impact, you're not just looking at what does it mean? Does it mean inflation has gone up? No, it doesn't mean inflation has gone up. In fact, inflation has been coming down. Does it mean interest rates have gone up? No, it doesn't mean interest rates have gone up. They've been coming down. Does it mean the exchange rate is depreciating faster? No, it doesn't mean the exchange rate is in fact depreciating by 50% less than what we had under the NDC. And in fact, Obi, this year is the most amazing thing has happened, notwithstanding COVID and everything that this economy is going through as we handle COVID. The exchange rate depreciation so far this year is around 2%.
Well, commercial banks have advanced almost 20 billion cedis to businesses hit by COVID-19 since March this year. Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Ernest Addison, disclosed this at a news conference after the Monetary Policy Committee met to review development in the economy. George Raffi has more.
According to the governor of the Bank of Ghana, even though economic activities have started picking up, there are still some threats out there that needs to be considered before adjusting the rates.
We need to see economic activity recover. So we expect that GDP growth would pick up.
The governor also revealed that more than 20 billion Ghana cedis have been advanced to businesses for March this year, signaling a credit rebound to firms.
We are almost at 11 billion of assets that have to be recovered. And therefore, at 2 billion, we are way below where we should be.
That they are currently looking at a proposal from the army to actually possibly airlift bulk cash movements around the country.
We have quite a good fleet of bullion banks, and I'm asking them to see how we can collaborate with the banks.
All these, some fiscal discipline on the part of government is needed to actually aid the expected recovery.
Ghana will receive about 92.9 million euros from the European Union for its economic recovery for the impact of COVID-19. Part of the fund is also aimed at supporting the security agencies of the country for the December polls. There is more in this report. Is the European Union's contribution to Ghana's crisis response and to address the economic impacts of the pandemic. 87 million euros is earmarked purposefully for economic recovery, whilst 5.9 million is for security support to the northern borders.
Assembled to mitigate the devastating effect of the COVID-19 crisis in Ghana, this budget support contract between the government of Ghana and the European Union consists of a total amount of 87 million euro, nearly 600 million cedis, to help Ghana face the multiple impacts of the crisis and support a robust recovery that I see from the recent statistics has already started. And at this point, Honorable Minister, let me here commend your government and Ghanaians for their exemplary response on so many fronts in such challenging times.
Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta expressed confidence that the fund will help in closing the fiscal financing gap for the year.
Thanks for the support. It comes at a good time in which the impact has been the result literally of moving from a 4 0.7 budget deficit to 11.4. So it's quite draconian with revenues coming down and expenditures going up, but always realizing that you can't bring people back to life, so you need to spend to make sure that we do that. But I think beyond that was also President's assertion that the recovery must be swift.
The special emergency budget support is a single disbursement to Ghana. And that'll be all for business in this edition. Gary L. Smith is up next with sports to stay.
Welcome back to Joy News Prime. To the rest of our stories. And state prosecutors say a cleaner at the residence of the deceased law professor Yao Bene has confessed his involvement in the gruesome murder. 2 others are said to have been named as his accomplices as the state dropped the charge of murder against 3 others. The law lecturer was found dead at his Adrigano mansion with his hands tied behind his back and piece of cloth stuffed in his mouth. Court correspondent Joseph Akable was in court as 2 persons were remanded in police custody and now report.
All persons were on September 16 charged with murder by state prosecutors. They are Isaac Butcher, a cleaner at the residence of the professor, Christian Pobi, another cleaner, Adams Mensah, a gardener, and James Nana Wamba, also a cleaner. State prosecutors on Wednesday informed the court their investigations have cleared Isaac Butcher, Christian Pobi, and Adams Mensah of any wrongdoing. James Nana Wamba, who served the professor as a cleaner, is said to have confessed his involvement in a murder, naming 3 others as his accomplices. This includes one Opambo Eja Bedu in Kansa, who has been arrested by the police. He was charged with murder and conspiracy to commit murder together with James Wamba. Prosecutors requested a warrant for the arrest of 2 others whose names were not mentioned. It's not clear at this stage what the motive of the crime was. Prosecutors say investigations are still underway and efforts are being undertaken to apprehend the 2 others on the run. The 2 others who have been charged have been remanded into the custody of the police and are to reappear in court on October 14.
Away from court, coalition of aggrieved teachers are demanding the immediate payment of salaries owed them since 2012. The affected teachers, who number about 11,000, say government is not being honest with them. Earlier in August, Vice President Bawumia announced that government had cleared all legacy arrears owed teachers, but the agitated teachers who have been picketing at the premises of the Ghana Education Service insist they have not been paid. My colleague Manuel Kranting was there for Joy News.
Pay us now. We need our money now. That's the call of the coalition of aggrieved teachers. Well, they are requesting that government releases monies which are in arrears. I'm speaking to one of the men here. For how long? How long has your money been in arrears?
For 21 solid months. My full salary has been in arrears for full 21 months.
But how did your salary get into arrears? Because we know the government has been saying that it's been clearing the legacy arrears and so on.
Now, what happened was that during those periods, that was 2012 through up to 2016, that was under the previous government. What happened was that they introduced a program that a policy that whoever has an arrears of salary, being it an upgrading, being it a new entrant or whatever, you'll be paid 3 months. Then the rest that you are being owed will be audited, and after auditing, you will be paid. So they tagged that salary legacy arrears. You understand me? So those of us who were having those types of arrears, we have money. It's ranging from reinstatement, reactivation, salary arrears, upgrading, so many categories. You understand? So many categories. What is happening is that they have tagged all the categories of arrears as legacy arrears. Once it was under the previous government, that they are auditing into it before they do pay us.
And that's the process, to audit before you pay. And we know that, 2 days ago, the GS released a list for you people to submit your details so that it will be validated. And then you're here picketing.
My dear, I understand you that GS released a list that they are going to do validation. We went to our district offices and our names were not there. Now, what is happening is that this exercise that we are talking about, we have done it several.
And to some politics, enthusiasts of political parties have diverse ways of showing support for their favorite politicians and party. Some show it by financing activities of the party. Others mount the campaign platform to woo voters with fine speeches, and there are those who help by organizing activities of the party. But my colleague Latif Idris caught up with 3 ladies on the campaign trail of Vice President Mahamudu Bawumia, who have none of the above listed attributes but are determined to campaign for the party ahead of the elections. But how are they doing that? They have tattooed the photo of President Akufo-Addo and First Lady Rebecca Akufo-Addo at their backs. The ladies tell Latif Idris they don't mind the dangers that come with permanently.
Now, these are some of the party enthusiasts who have tattooed pictures of the First Lady, the President, and the parliamentary candidates of the constituency at their backs in support of the party's fight to win power come December 7th. We just want to have a word with them. So you can turn your backs again for us. You give us your name.
Jane. Yes, please.
What motivated this?
Oh, because I love him so much, and then I want him to come on the community and then help the community. Yes, that's all.
Is this a permanent tattoo?
Yes, please.
How much do you spend to do this at your back?
Per one person is almost 2,500.
And you got it from your own pocket?
Yeah, I did it because I belong to MPP. My blood belongs to MPP. And then I'm ever ready for MPP because I enjoy the free education. So that's why I did it for Akufo-Addo.
You enjoyed free education?
Yeah.
You mean free SHS?
Yeah.
So you are one of those who just completed?
No, but a lot of my family, not me, yeah.
So you to tell us what you have at your back. Is it a permanent tattoo or temporary?
Yes, it's a permanent tattoo.
Give us your name.
Eva.
So why are you doing this?
Oh, I love the First Lady, and because of the good things they are doing for Ghana, the free SHS, the water, the free water, utilities are being paid during the lockdown. And if someone is doing something good, you have to be creative about it. So we appreciate what MPP government is doing for Ghana. So we are good to go.
So tell us, apart from showcasing your bags here today, how do you go about showcasing it to the general public? Do you always work with your bags showing?
No, when we have programs, we go out like this. This is not the first time. Previous weeks, the First Lady was around. We did the same thing.
And which word is a mouthful for you to pronounce? Well, I have my own list and many bloaters, and I guess you may have heard some. Can you guess which town's name is mouthful for president? Watch this.
Work is also progressing steadily on the Tama to Makadai line.
Well, the town's name is in Pakadan. The town is located in a Sojaman district in the eastern region. Share with us the name of a town you find difficult to pronounce on our social media handles. That'll be it for the bulletin tonight. My name is Aisha Ibrahim. Enjoy the rest of our programs.